So for today's surprise review, I have two records that I want to cover. I'm not getting two episodes in, I'm covering two in one episode. And you'll understand why in a little bit. Normally when I find a new artist, I want to give them a chance. I want to give them 100% of my attention, and if you lose me halfway through the record, I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm just going to be completely blunt and honest about that. The first artist I'm going to cover, his name is Syringe. And he was recommended through my Google Play feed because I listen to the Suicide Boys. Understandable. Because whenever there's someone that's new in those realms, I'll give them a shot. I found out about one guy named Scarlord with an X instead of an O, and he's okay. But it's just, bits and pieces of people that come in, I'll give them a shot. I've never heard of this guy before. I started listening to it, and it was eh. And then there was one point when I had it playing for a little bit and came back to it. And this guy said a lyric along the lines of, Hitler did something, but I can't remember. Those words stuck out to me as he rapped them on the verse. And then at the very end, this man said, Hail Hitler. I became extremely uncomfortable with that, immediately removed it from my library, and proceeded to think of, holy shit, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I didn't want to look up this guy. I didn't want to look at his social media, anything like that, because here's the thing. When you have shock value rap, you do something with it that you should be able to market to anyone. If you have shock value rap, you look at people like Tyler the Creator, Bizarre, King Gordy, even though he's done the same thing. I am not a fan of King Gordy at all. But he's done the same thing, and he's lost me as a fan when I found out he did something to that same effect years ago. But there are people that have done that before, and somehow it's worked for them. I still don't know why. But when Tyler the Creator came out and ate a frickin' roach and everybody lost their mind, shock value. Just in a visual. You don't need to say outlandish things that basically puts in one of the world's leading superpowers that killed himself, supposedly. We don't know because no one ever found anything. Regardless, one of the men that caused the biggest genocides to touch this world, I mean, if you respect that, then I'm sorry, you can't hang out with me. Musically, personally, whatever. So I took you out of my library. So Syringe, your music sucks. You sound way too much like the Suicide Boys. You sound like you listened to Ruby's verses and wanted to copy his flow bit by bit. Then you listened to some Bones and you copied his singing bit by bit. Even though your voice is so rough and gruffy that you couldn't even think of getting proper singing lessons, at least even if they were from one of your homies. Like, dude, think before you do. And also, your lyrics, god-awful. Beats, holy fucking shit. They're awful. I wouldn't even recommend a friend of mine that's trying to get into music, that likes rock music, that wants edgy shit like that. Marilyn Manson came and gone, and he's still doing the same shit he was 20 years ago. No one's scared of him anymore. You're not that scary. You're just trying to be edgy and cringy. You're succeeding at the cringe. Now for the other side of this versus match, we have an artist that represents the Brain Sick Music label. This man's name is Charlie Ray, or C. Ray, how he's been stylizing it recently. His album is called Lightborn. And just for a major contrast, the beats are totally different. They have a feel all their own. The cover is utterly amazing. It's like a futuristic Moses type thing going on the cover. I'll leave a link in the description of the album because I highly recommend you guys listen to it, even though I've only said two things about it. His flow is utterly amazing. He's on beat. He switches his styles up. He's not copying anybody. He can sing on his own without copying someone's ideas, taking inspiration from people like Zero and taking stylistic flows from Tech Nine, Twista, Twisted Insane, and making his own flow along the way. That makes his music more interesting. He doesn't say anything that makes you cringe. He puts in biblical quotes of the matter of, it's basically like ye shall inherit the earth type thing. I don't remember word for word, but he definitely makes a profound personal album. And he sees himself to be this profound figure. Not a prophet, but a profound figure to push himself forward and speak what should be spoken to the public eye. He's not trying to claim any conscious type material. He's just speaking how he's seeing things are going in the world with these quotes. And with that, he's still delivering a message all his own. He talks about his, I would have to say ex-wife or ex-baby mama. He didn't really say, just the girl that had his children. And he talks about how she was basically just straight up garbage. And, I mean, we've heard that before. Tech Nine, etc. You can probably name like 30 or 40 artists that talk about how their baby mama ain't shit. And that's totally cool if you can make it interesting. And he makes it interesting because he talks about how much he cares for his children. And his label mate and head of Brain Sick Music, Twisted Insane, talks about his kids on several occasions. And his children are his life. There is literally nothing in the world on Twisted Insane. Nothing. There's a couple Wikipedia pages that pop up every now and then, but he wants his identity to be forgotten, unknown. He wants to be a ghost. He wants to be known as his alias only. Now, I can't find anything on C-Ray either, but as his album starts out, there's a song called Nephilim, and that is the immediate way to catch my attention. Not the title, but the way that you start the album off. That's how you catch everyone's attention. That's what you need to do. He goes into other songs called Lost Count, which is basically a soft song, but it has hard lyrics in it. And then he has Fallen, which is talking about how he is almost seeing himself as a fallen angel of some sorts. And then there's a song called Keys, which I had massive amounts of Zero vibe. And if no one knows who Zero is, he's a rapper slash singer from Houston. And a lot of people derive their inspiration from him. And if no one knows who that is and they still hear that inspiration from him in other people's songs, he's basically your favorite rapper's favorite hook rapper. That's just how this guy is. And C-Ray is definitely delivering what needs to be delivered on this album. He makes it personal, but he also makes it philosophical. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing nowadays. A multiple amount of messages that are inside of your albums can pack more of a punch than just one sole message. And that's what he does. So in today's versus match, obviously, C-Ray wins. And it's so sad when you try and find new music and you find somebody and then they say some dumb shit like that. I don't ever want to see this guy recommended in my list ever again. So to the people at YouTube that process these videos, if you see me talking about this and you actually have 5 seconds to, think about what goes into my recommendations, because I know you guys watch these things somehow, some way, don't recommend me his music anymore. And anyone that's out there, don't even look it up. I'm giving him free publicity right now and I'm talking shit on his record. Don't look it up. Don't listen to it. Unless if you rock with Satan like that. In other words, don't subscribe to my channel if you rock with Satan. I'm just saying, don't do it. If you want quality music, I highly recommend any of the artists that are on Brain Sick Music. Any of them. They deliver a punch unlike any other. Z, Twisted Insane, anyone. King ISO, holy shit. Like, there are so many people on that label that have flow, delivery, lyrics. It's endless. And if you have something to deliver with your music, why not give it with the message that it needs to be given with in the first place? That's the thing that a lot of these artists are missing nowadays. Now, I think that's another thing. Focus. That's one thing that Syringe lacked on this record. He lacked focus. And an understanding that shock rap doesn't really shock anybody anymore. We wake up and deal with the same thing every day. C-Ray, you did fantastic. If I had some way of contacting you via social media, I would let you know how well you've done. But I will tell Twisted Insane some way, shape, or form. And hopefully he sees it and recognizes it and lets you know. So, with that being said, my name is Ethan, otherwise known as Two-Face. There will be a link in the description, like I said earlier, for C-Ray's Lightborn album. I highly recommend you guys listen to it. And I think I might do a versus series once a week. I think it'd be more interesting because it can show the comparisons and contrasts between certain artists and how much they can deliver versus another artist. So if you guys want to see more of these, just let me know in the comments. Or if anyone sees these things when I share them on Facebook, let me know. So yeah, I will see you guys on Monday. I'm going to be reviewing the recent NF album, Perception, because not a lot of people are talking about that guy, and more people need to. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see everybody then. Peace.